Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us today on our edition of Daily Connections. This is Seneca Waugh with your Clear Next Step, and this is part of our commitment to just doing whatever we can do to help people have better work days, so that at the end of our better work days, we can have better evenings and better weekends and help contribute towards better communities. Thank you for being part of the conversation. This is part of our Daily Connections, and we're running these from March 19th through May 1st. Daily Connections, just being out here offering positivity, offering a chance to collaborate and to connect, and then hopefully some tips that you can take away and apply to make things even better where you are. So a couple of days ago, I put we started asking people for more input about what they would like and what you would be interested in. And so some of you who are on this call now got to chime in and vote, and others voted but haven't dialed in yet. But I took the response of, I put out some topic ideas that I knew I was planning to cover and said, okay, well, whichever one gets the most votes, that's what's going to go first. So the topic that got the most votes on our Facebook and our LinkedIn posts was the question, how do we lift someone else's spirits when they're not here? How do we lift someone else's spirits when they're not here? So that's the topic of today. That got the most votes, and here are a couple of thoughts around that. So the first one, let me do a quick disclaimer and say there's probably an easy button, right? In fact, there's a 3-step. I can give you an easy button, and there are some easy tips for a short answer, a quick solution to that. But at this moment right now, when many of us have spent 3 or more weeks thinking of things that aren't necessarily pleasant to think about and dwelling in the COVID-19 crisis, wouldn't it be nice if for a few minutes we could exercise our brains on something that is not necessarily COVID-19? What if we were to really, instead of just trying to slam it in or do the bare minimum, what if we spent some time and energy on really thinking this through and creating a formula or a process or a way to lift someone else's spirits even when they're not there? So here are some steps. It's 7 little steps. All of these will be out there in our social media or in our blog post, and you'll be able to get to that from any of our social media pages or from yourclearnextstep.com. And the first tip is to figure out your why. That's step 1, figure out your why. Why do you want to lift their spirits? I think when we stop and figure out why we want to lift their spirits, I think it will help us make a better answer to that. I want to lift their spirits because I heard them say something that they are down in some particular way, or I want to lift their spirits because I've noticed that they're not their usual selves, or maybe you heard them say a particular word or phrase that triggered something, or maybe you were going about your day and you thought of them. And so they came to mind. Why? Why are they coming to mind right now? One of the things that, a quick story that goes with this is I was thinking about a friend of mine and colleague of mine who is out in the Portland area. And I thought of her the other day, and I imagine that she's facing challenges like many of the rest of us, right? A business owner and impacted by many of the things that I'm impacted by. And I just got to thinking about her. I wonder how she's doing and how things are going. And I'd love to just send her a hug right now. You'll be part of that virtual conversation. And part of it was thinking about her. And then I went outside that particular day, and we had a hard rain that morning. And so I came outside, and there were like these really enormous earthworms all over the ground, right? The big, really gross ones that Iowa gets in a way that many other states don't get. And I had a recollection of a conversation with her when we were back in college, where she expressed a disaffinity for earthworms, especially the big kind. And we had this long-running joke for years that, but Nancy, I know you can outrun the average earthworm. And so we talked about, that's a conversation that she and I have had for years. And the point to this story is when you figure out your why was it that I wanted to call Nancy? Well, I wanted to call Nancy because I love Nancy. I wanted to call Nancy because she's my friend, and I wanted to lift her spirits. But I also, at that particular moment, I wanted to call Nancy because there was a trigger. There was a specific moment that made me think of her. Now, why is this important? This is important because on the back end, when I actually do talk to Nancy and I go to lift her spirits, when I can point to that specific thing that made me think of her, that specific thing that made me go, oh, that's why I was thinking of you, that will lift her spirits in a far greater way than a generic, hey, thought of you today, right? It's something really, really specific. So figure out your why. The second step is to figure out your relationship with them. Now, I'm not asking you to just to solve your relationship with them. Some relationships are complicated. That's not it. But do stop for a second and think about your relationship with them. Are they friends? Are they a colleague? Are they your boss? Are they an employee? Are they a family member? Are they someone that you know sort of? Are they someone you know socially through your social connections? Are they someone that you know through Facebook? Get your head around who they are and what they mean to you. Because again, as you stop and think about who they are and what they mean to you, you may be able to start getting some creative juices going on, okay, well, and this is the context that we usually interact, or this is the context that we usually see each other, or this is what we usually do one for the other. And when you figure out that relationship with them, you can figure out how much time is available, how much money is available, how far you'll go to help lift their spirits, and how much room you have to play as you start to think about what you can do for them. So that was tip 2. Tip 1 is figure out your why. Tip 2 is figure out your relationship with them, at least to the extent that it makes sense, so you can have some context there. Step 3, and this is probably the hardest one, is figure out what they need and what they like. So what they need and what they like may be 2 different things. Maybe right now they need something and you are not physically able to provide it for them. But you do know something that they like, and while you can't give them what they need, you can share appreciation, you can share love, you can build them up by thinking of something that they like. And as you're thinking about this, we talked about some of this before in some of our topics, but I'll revisit some of these because they're really important. So how do they communicate? Are these phone people? Are they, are they email people? Are they text people? Are they chat, FaceTime people? Are they physical, look you in the eye kind of people? Think about their communication styles. Are they direct and to the point and brusque, or do they tell stories and love to laugh openly? Are they sort of quiet and even keel? Are they really data oriented and they need lots of detail and like to solve puzzles? Think about the introvert-extrovert kind of difference there. Are they the ones who go out and usually make that first move, or are they the ones that kind of hold back and are a little bit more reserved? Do they prefer larger groups or smaller groups? Think about their language of appreciation. How do they hear and how do they express appreciation? Because when I understand their language and how they communicate, I can adjust to meet something that would be really, really meaningful for them. Think about where they are in their life status right now. Parents, grandparents, living in a crowded space, a space that is suddenly crowded that didn't used to be crowded. Think about whether they're living alone and they used to be in a social interaction. Think about their humor and what kind of humor they like and what things are funny and what things are not funny. Definitely, we talked about humor before, and definitely with some of the memes going out around, some of them light people's moods and light their spirits, and some are a different kind of humor, right? And it won't necessarily lift someone else's mood. They would feel maybe not offended by it, but it would not bring them the same level of joy. So as you're thinking about these people, who are they? What do they like and what do they need? And you sort of combine those in your own head, and you really spend some time thinking about it. Before you take any action, stop and think about it. What do they need and what do they like, and how do they communicate, and how do you communicate successfully with them? Then step 4. Step 4, picture the best case scenario. What is the best case scenario? If you had all the time in the world and all the money in the world, and money were no object and time were no object, and you could do exactly what you thought was the best possible thing that would lift them up in the most unique, most personal way for them, right? That could lift them up. If you could do that perfect thing, what would it be? Now, why do I stop? Why do I pause right there? The reality is we don't all have access to all the time and money in the world, right? But we can use that to say, hey, here's what I wanted to do for you. Here's what I was thinking about. It sets the stage, and it says, hey, this is, if I really could, these are all the things that I could do. And it also allows you to be more creative as you get to steps 5 and 6. So years ago, I was fairly early in my professional career, and a colleague sent me an email, and I opened the email, and the guy's name was Tony, and Tony sent this email, and Tony said, hey, congratulations on that really successful project you just did. I'm so proud of you, and the team really appreciates all of the work that you did. And we got together, and we wanted to send you some flowers. And we realized that among us, we don't have money for flowers, and we didn't know if you were allergic or if you would like the flowers or not. So we got together and we gave you this bouquet. And so it was a virtual bouquet, which sounds absolutely ridiculous, but they had found the most extravagant, most beautiful bouquet of flowers that a person could possibly give another person. And they had delivered it to me in my inbox as a picture. We didn't have time and money at that point to do these extravagant things, but I kept that email. In fact, I think if I were to dig in my good thoughts message, in my good thoughts folder where I keep all those positive and uplifting messages that I keep, that I get over the years so that I have them on the dark days, I'm pretty sure that message is still in there, where it was from Tony, but it was from Tony on behalf of the team, and we gave you this. So here's what we wanted to do. Here's what we can afford, and we just wanted you to know that we were thinking of you. So then step 5 is understand your parameters, right? It ties into what I was just talking about. So picture your best case scenario. What's the best thing you could do in step 4? And in step 5, okay, so now let's understand our parameters. How much time do we really have? How much, what's feasible right now? Physically, where can I go? Maybe I can't go to someone's house and give them a hug, but can I create can I do it? Can I stitch something? Can I sew something? Can I knit something that feels like a hug? Can I write the word hug on a piece of paper and send it to them, sending you a hug, right? What are your parameters? What can you do? Can we mail something? Can we email something? Can we pick up the phone and call someone? What really is feasible based on the time and money that you have? And that's fun because you've already stopped and thought about what you want to do. And now you can go back and go, okay, well, time and money and understanding my relationship, and here's where we are, here's what I want to do, here's what I can do. And then we're going to take it one step further. We're going to take it to step 6, which is get some extra tips. This is a great opportunity right now to check with your tribe. You have a network of people who also have ideas and who are also trying to think of ideas of how to lift others up. So you can go to Google, go to Facebook, go to Pinterest, ask a coach or a mentor, get other ideas from your friends, from your family, from other people who know this person or people who don't know this person. Say, hey, I was thinking about this. What other ideas do you have? And enjoy the creativity that comes. Maybe you won't be able to apply everything that was offered and everything that was suggested, but you'll be able to find things for future use. You'll be able to file them away, and you will have some ideas, probably something that will be very practical for this given situation. And then step 7, do what you say you will do. We use the acronym DWISD in our organization. We use it a lot. DWISD, it stands for do what you said you would do, or do what you say you will do. If we've gone through all this energy, if we've spent our time thinking about 6 steps, 6 ways to really lift someone else's spirits, then go and do what you said you would do. So if you were looking for a shorter version, a shorter, like 3 steps, Seneca, I don't have time for 7. I'm barely surviving here. Bare minimum is all I get. So the 3 steps, who and why, right? Ask yourself, who do you want to lift and why do you want to lift their spirits? Second one is figure out what to try. And then the third one is to do it. Just go, just do it. So who and why, what to try, go. Those are the 3 steps if you want an easy button. But they're really still taking you through those 7 concepts that I laid out. Just allowing you to stop and figure out, why do you want to appreciate that one, that person? What is your relationship with them and kind of what makes sense? What do they need and what do they like? What is the best you could possibly do? And then what are your parameters? And then get some ideas to get creative in those parameters. Specific tactical things that I've heard of along the way, for sure, and hopefully others will chime in. I'll just put some ideas out there and then others will chime in as well. Handwritten notes or ideas, flowers or virtual flowers. I know a lot of folks are talking about supporting small business right now by ordering local from their local takeout places, but maybe you don't need the takeout, but maybe you order local and deliver to them and make a generous tip on their behalf. Pick up groceries for them and drop them off with germ wipes. Send them funny memes, go out and draw chalk drawings of happy things on their sidewalk. FaceTime or any of these social media things, happy hours together, melodies, like some of the parodies that are out there. Music is definitely one, or the movies or entertainment where you can watch a movie together. Netflix has a thing now with Watch Together. So there are a variety of ways that you can lift other spirits. We'll get to some tactical ones here, but I hope that first set of tips is useful for you. These are ways that we can lift someone's spirits even if we're not together.